One of the most enchanting and enduring aspects of studying history is the allure of its mysteries, enigmatic moments suspended in time that have long captivated the public imagination. Who hasn't pondered the fate of the Romanovs, or shivered at tales of the beast of Gavaudan stalking the French countryside? These stories, often steeped in myth, fiction, and speculation, become larger than life, shaping films, books, and endless debates. Yet behind the veil of legend, many of these so-called unsolved mysteries have actual answers, clear, evidence-backed explanations that history and science have painstakingly revealed over time. But truth, it seems, rarely outshines myth. Let's take a closer look at some of history's most haunting puzzles and the surprisingly grounded truths behind them. So sit tight as we dive into today's mystery, and you will have incredible luck if you like and subscribe before this video ends. 1. The illusion of survival, Anastasia Romanov's fate. The fall of the Russian Empire brought with it one of history's most tragic royal sagas, the execution of Tsar Nicholas II and his family during the Russian Revolution. For decades, a glimmer of hope persisted that Grand Duchess Anastasia, the youngest daughter, had somehow escaped the brutal massacre in Ekaterinburg. Imposters emerged, films romanticized her survival, and the world clung to the fairy tale. But the fairy tale ended in cold forensic truth. In 1979, a grave was discovered containing the remains of the Romanovs, though 2 bodies were missing. It wasn't until 2007 that the final remains, those believed to be Maria and Alexei, were uncovered. DNA testing confirmed what many historians had long suspected. Anastasia perished with her family. The dream of her survival was powerful but ultimately fiction. 2. The Maya collapse or transformation. The towering temples and vast ruins of the Maya civilization have long fueled visions of a sudden, apocalyptic collapse. For decades, the narrative told of a thriving empire that mysteriously vanished, fueling stories of lost knowledge and civilization. In reality, the Maya didn't vanish, they evolved. The civilization wasn't a single empire but a collection of interconnected city-states. What crumbled was the political framework, not the people. Environmental strain, warfare, and distrust in leadership led to the downfall of major centers, but the Maya themselves endured. Millions of their descendants still live in Central America today, speaking the same ancient languages and preserving cultural practices. 3. The sky lit a fire, solving the Tunguska event. On a quiet morning in 1908, Siberia was rocked by a cataclysmic explosion that flattened 2,000 square kilometers of forest. Eyewitnesses described a fiery object streaking across the sky before a massive blast shook the earth. Seismic waves were felt as far as Europe. Theories ranged from alien ships to Tesla's death ray. But the most accepted explanation is equally dramatic. A comet or asteroid exploded in Earth's atmosphere 5 to 10 miles above the surface. The blast, measuring up to 30 megatons, had the power of hundreds of Hiroshima bombs. The mystery remained due to the remoteness of the site and Cold War tensions, but modern science now paints a vivid picture of a rare cosmic collision with Earth's fragile shell. 4. Rasputin, death of a legend. Grigory Rasputin, the mystic monk who wormed his way into the heart of the Russian court, has become the subject of countless gruesome tales. The most famous claims he survived poison, multiple gunshots, and finally drowned in an icy river. Yet the truth is far more mundane and telling. Rasputin was murdered by aristocrats desperate to sever his influence over the Tsarina Alexandra. The autopsy revealed a single fatal gunshot to the head. The wild stories of his near-supernatural endurance were concocted to aggrandize his killers and cement Rasputin as a monstrous figure. In truth, he died like any man, but lived forever in folklore. 5. The lemming myth manufactured tragedy. The notion of lemmings committing mass suicide has become cultural shorthand for blind, self-destructive behavior. It's so deeply ingrained in popular culture that few question its truth. The myth was born in part from Disney's 1958 nature documentary White Wilderness, in which filmmakers, needing a dramatic climax, staged scenes of lemmings plunging off cliffs. In reality, Lemmings migrate in groups and may drown during swims across bodies of water, but they do not hurl themselves off cliffs with suicidal intent. It's a tragic example of how media manipulation can fabricate an enduring myth. 6. The bloop, an iceberg's echo. In 1997, a deep, eerie sound echoed across the Pacific, captured by hydrophones originally designed to detect Soviet submarines. Dubbed the bloop, the mysterious noise sparked widespread speculation. Was it a giant sea creature? An underwater base? Eventually, scientists traced the sound to a massive iceberg cracking and breaking apart. An icequake. With rising global temperatures, such events are becoming more common. The deep sea holds many secrets, but in this case, the answer was as chilling as it was terrestrial. 7. Princes in the Tower, a quiet execution. The fate of Edward V and his brother Richard, locked in the Tower of London and never seen again, has puzzled historians for centuries. Did they escape? Were they murdered? All evidence points to one man, Richard III, their uncle and the man who usurped the throne. Contemporary accounts, circumstantial clues, and political necessity all suggest he had the boys quietly killed to solidify his reign. Their bones were likely discovered in the 17th century, buried under a stairwell. Despite decades of revisionist defense, the case against Richard remains overwhelming. 8. Transitional fossils exist, plenty of them. Critics of evolutionary theory often argue that there are no missing links, no transitional fossils that show species changing over time. But this is patently false. From Archaeopteryx, a feathered dinosaur with both bird and reptile features, to Tiktaalik, which bridges the gap between fish and land vertebrates, transitional fossils are abundant. They reveal not sudden creation, but slow, astonishing change over millions of years. Evolution's beauty lies in its patience. 9. The Beast of Gavaudan, a pack of wolves, not a monster. In 18th century France, a beast terrorized the region of Gavaudan, killing scores and fueling hysteria. It was described as monstrous, wolf-like but far larger, with supernatural speed and ferocity. Historical investigation, however, suggests it wasn't one beast, but a series of wolf attacks, sensationalized by the media and exploited by political elites during a time of national crisis. The true beast may have been fear itself, magnified by rumor and desperation. 10. The Bermuda Triangle, a manufactured mystery. The legend of the Bermuda Triangle as a vortex of doom gained steam in the mid-20th century, thanks to sensationalist books and tabloid journalism. Ships and planes disappearing without a trace. Was it aliens? Time warps? In reality, the region sees no more disappearances than any other heavily trafficked area of the ocean. Most incidents have logical explanations. Storms, mechanical failure, human error. The triangle's infamy is a product of media myth-making, not maritime malice. 11. Stonehenge, built with ingenuity, not magic. For centuries, people wondered how Stonehenge's massive stones were erected without modern machinery. Were aliens involved? Hardly. Archaeologists have uncovered evidence of a complex but achievable system using sledges, ropes, timber, and human labor. With engineering skill and communal effort, the builders raised the stones to honor their gods and seasons. The mystery isn't how they built it, but how they worked so well together. 12. The Dyatlov Pass Incident, a tragedy of nature. The chilling deaths of 9 Soviet hikers in 1959 left a trail of confusion. Their tent shredded from the inside, some bodies with horrific injuries, others found barefoot in the snow. Conspiracies abounded, aliens, military experiments, yetis. But recent research points to a much more grounded explanation. An avalanche, triggered by unstable snow and wind, forced the hikers to flee into lethal cold. Panic, hypothermia, and injuries followed. Nature was the killer, not the supernatural. Final thoughts. History's mysteries are never simple. Some remain unsolved, but many, once illuminated, lose none of their fascination. They simply evolve from legend into something deeper, truth. And truth, as these stories show, can be stranger and more powerful than fiction. Feel free to leave your comments below, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more mysteries like this. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.